Welcome back to Toony Talk, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to talk about the 2024 Garfield movie, something that completely flew under the radar for me. I didn't even know this thing was being made, but they just announced a trailer for it, and I got one glimpse of it, and I wanted to vomit. Guys, I have been a Garfield fan for as long as I can remember. I have the first 4 volumes of the Garfield Fat Cat 3-pack. I love the comics. I love the original series. There's an entire Garfield channel on Pluto TV because now Garfield is owned by Nickelodeon. Jim Davis ended up selling it, which, yeah, not too thrilled about that personally, but I get it. He's getting older, and Garfield is worth some money, so why not? But, it's starring Chris Pratt, because of course it is. It looks like it's being made by Illumination, but it's being made by Sony. It's due out for May 24th, 2024, so 2 days after my 32nd birthday. And I'm not interested. I'm saying this as a mega fan who watched at least the first live-action Garfield. I think I saw glimpses of the second one, but it just didn't interest me. Tale of Two Kitties, and I thought the first one was decent. It was a fun novelty, but it wasn't the greatest thing in the world. Some people said it was terrible, and I don't know. I think having Bill Murray as Garfield was possibly the best choice. They should have brought him back, or somebody who's monotone. Chris Pratt isn't monotone. Lorenzo Music established the voice of Garfield going forward, and they're just ignoring that because Chris Pratt. And I love Chris Pratt. I think he's great. But he's being stuck in almost every animated thing because he's just got that sort of generic voice. I don't really get the thought process behind it, but I don't want it. I don't want any of this. I look at the animation, I think it looks terrible. The designs look terrible. They're kind of trying to mimic the comics, but they're not succeeding at all. No, I'll stick with the original animated series, and I'll be fine with just that, because the animated series actually takes stories from the comics. The Garfield quickies in that show are panel for panel from the comics. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. I love newspaper comics. I've always loved newspaper comics more than superhero comics. And I love the Peanuts. I love Garfield. I love Foxtrot. I love Dilbert. A whole bunch of them. I think they're fantastic. I've tried my hand at my own sort of newspaper strip style comics before with a friend and both on my own. I've got my own series on Facebook that I've been working on, and I'm trying to improve my art skills so that I can do more. I love this stuff. And this isn't it. This is a cheap cash grab. That's absolutely what it is. Absolutely. And just maddening. Just maddening. I can't stand it. And look at all the celebrities they're trying to shove into it. Chris Pratt, Samuel L. Jackson, Hannah Waddingham, and a whole bunch of other people I haven't heard of. Oh, and they've got Garfield has a father in this, so this is going to be an origin story. Fantastic. Because we all haven't seen Garfield's origin story. Garfield really doesn't have an origin story. The original comic is just Garfield and John. John's a cartoonist, and Garfield's his cat. That's it. Their only thought is to entertain you, except Garfield's thought is he wants to eat. That's the first Garfield comic strip from 1970. When was it? 1975? I should know this. 1978. That's my bad. Look, Jim Davis is almost 80 years old. So he's not going to keep control of this thing forever. I completely understand that. But this is just milking at this point. This is a franchise being milked. This is why I don't get excited. This is why I didn't get excited about the Mario movie. It's just opportunities to milk franchises that we know and love and make them more generic. And I can't stand that. I really can't. I don't think this movie's going to do very good, to be honest with you. I'm sure some people will see it, but most of this generation doesn't seem to care about Garfield. I haven't met a lot of people in Gen Z who know or care about who Garfield is. You know, Garfield's had numerous shows since the original on Nickelodeon and other places. They tried to do a CG series, and he's had multiple video games and things like that, but his best format is the comics, which Jim Davis still does. And he'll probably always still do. I think he retains the rights to the comics. But, it's just, as a fan of the comics, as a fan of, and knowing this character, just like I know the Looney Tunes, just like I know Mario, it's just crazy. It's a generic formula. It's going to be a generic origin story. It's going to be a generic origin story and a bunch of wacky situations. Like, look at the premise. Garfield, voiced by Chris Pratt, the world-famous, Monday-hating, lasagna-loving indoor cat, is about to have a wild outdoor adventure after an unexpected reunion with his long-lost father. Oh, please, gag me with a spoon. Scruffy street cat Vic, voiced by Samuel L. Jackson. Garfield and his canine friend Odie are forced from their perfectly pampered life into joining Vic in a hilarious high-stakes heist. How boring and generic is that? The fun thing about Garfield is that it's generic day-to-day situations. It's not these grand adventures. It's rarely ever these grand adventures. Jim doesn't write the comics that way. He writes Garfield doing mundane things with funny and witty dialogues and quips. That's what makes Garfield an enduring comic legend. This is just generic, let's try to create a generic family movie stuff. They're not even trying in Hollywood anymore. Because they don't respect you. They don't respect themselves. This just upsets me. It really does. I don't predict this to do even remotely well. What's its budget? Can we see its budget? I don't know what its budget is. Nor do I care. Apparently it's going to be on Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, linear television, but it's going to be exclusively in theaters because Sony they're all about theatrical releases, which they're smart to be. But I just don't care, guys. Like, this is the ruination of things that I've known and loved. Look how generic just the poster looks. Look at the character designs. Yeah, they sort of resemble the comics. It's just, they didn't go beat for beat from the comics. They're just, I don't know. I've got a headache. I need to go. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching this edition of Toony Talk. I will see you guys next time. This has been Super Koopa TV. God bless. Have a good one. Please make it stop.